Hi, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of Trojan Talk on BCHS Live as we take a preseason look at this year's Barron County Trojans and Trojanettes basketball team. Trojan head coach Warren Cunningham will be along in a few minutes, but first, Piper Lindsey begins her fourth season as the head coach of the Trojanettes. Finished last season 25-7, the most wins since the 2006-2007 season, and the second best record in the region last year. The Trojanettes were the 15th district champs last year, their first since 2009. They defeated Glasgow 44-33 to win the championship. And Coach, an exciting year for you last year. Went 5-1 in the district in the regular season, and you won the district tournament. That's something to be proud of after it hadn't been done in a while.
Yeah, that was a big step for us. That was one thing that we had obviously been working for the last couple of years. And the previous year, we finally got a chance to go to region, winning that first round of district, which was a good thing for us. And then, like I said, finally able to win over there at Glasgow. The kids were super excited. It was something that none of them had experienced at all before. And for Hadley Hammer, that our only senior that we had, it was just a bright spot for her and for the whole team and just for Trojan basketball. And
to beat the Lady Scotties on their home court to win the championship, that was pretty huge.
We did, and prior to that, we had lost to them. So I mean that was a big win for us that we were able to come out and beat them on their own floor, and the atmosphere was unreal. It was definitely a big win for us.
Of course, unfortunately, the fourth region tournament was not kind to us. We lost to Bowling Green 58-43 in the opening round as Mallory Pettigo went down with an ACL injury the day before the region tournament started. And, well, you had to make some quick adjustments.
Yeah, that was tough. I mean, we had obviously high expectations, and us going into it, we still had high hopes. But again, when your point guard goes down, you really do have to change some things. And we moved Bailey over to the point guard, and I thought she did a great job. We were right there for at least 2 quarters, and we just kind of ran out of gas. But again, I thought we did the best we could with what we had, and the girls, it left them hungry, and so now that's what we can build off of.
You graduated 1 starter last year. You mentioned Hadley Hammer, and now you returned 4 starters this season. Senior guards Mallory Pettigo, and returning off an ACL injury, of course, Bailey Pettigo, who just recently signed with Campbellsville University, and she averaged 13.5 points a game, was voted one of the top players in the region this year in the preseason. Junior guard Elizabeth Bertram voted the second best player in Region 4. She averaged 17 points a game. And then you have senior forward Mackenzie England back. You've also got senior Jillian Bush and juniors Eve Jackson and Carly Delk returning as well. You got to be happy about that.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely got some experience coming back, and looking back, they were freshmen when I first got here, and so it's been nice and exciting to see them grow as the years have passed. And they're playing their best basketball, and I don't want to say that too soon, but they really are compared to what they have been playing. They've really improved over the last few years, over the last summer. Obviously we didn't have Mallory all summer, but Bailey, it gave her a chance to kind of get her feet wet with, again, handling the basketball a little bit more and get a little out of her comfort zone, but it made her better, and as well it made everybody else better.
Right.
Mackenzie, Jillian, they've come a long way. I'm so excited to see what they have to offer these games that we're going to have. And then, like you said, Elizabeth, again, has been top notch. It's got to keep getting better, and we're excited for her too.
And keep her fingers crossed, no injuries this year.
Yeah, at all.
You only had 3 players that saw action in 32 games, in all 32 games last year. Bailey Pettigo, Jillian Bush, and Carly Delk. Elizabeth Bertram missed 14 games last year, playing in 18 of them. And then Mackenzie England missed 5 games. Of course, Mallory missed the regional tournament, but you were still able to win 25 games last year, and that says a lot about your experience.
Yeah, it does. And I think each time it gave somebody else a chance to step up and improve or get better and get that experience, like you said. I mean, at the beginning of the year, Mackenzie was out, so it gave Jillian and Carly an extra chance to step up and get out there. And then, of course, like you said, after that, Elizabeth was out for a long time, and felt like we all kind of pitched in and took up for her scoring that we lacked when she wasn't in or whatever. And then same thing with Mallory when she was out. I feel like somebody else had to step up, so it was definitely good for the entire group.
Right. You've had 2 preseason scrimmages, one against Owensboro Catholic, the other against Adair County. Talk about how those went for you, and what things do you see as the team's strengths so far this year, and what you've seen in those scrimmages, and things you think you may need to improve on as the season gets started tomorrow night?
Well, two very different teams in Owensboro Catholic, top team in the 3rd region who, obviously went to state last year and had a chance of beating Mercer County towards the, I think it was maybe the Final Four or semifinals, whatever it was. But again, a tough team that pretty much had everybody back. They graduated, I think, maybe one kid. But we played with them, and they're tall and lanky and get after you. So it was really nice to see how we handled their pressure, and then they played a lot of man, and it was nice to see our man offenses because we obviously don't get to see that very often. But again, bright spots with the bigs. Really impressed with Jelena McKenzie. Bailey actually wasn't with us that scrimmage, but Elizabeth and Mallory, and of course Carly had to step up and play some big minutes. But overall, just big spots between the bigs, and even the senior leadership was great. And then as far as Adair County, they're kind of building a little bit. They lost a lot from last year, so it was nice to fine-tune some things and really work on the little things that we've really been stressing these last few weeks. But again, we're really fine in the open person. I feel like that was one thing that was a bright spot, as well as being unselfish. And I feel like we have been, but you could really tell against Adair County, and just seeing stuff like that was just so exciting for the girls.
Right. Last year the team shot 46% from the field, 31% on threes, 64% from the foul line, and averaged about 30 rebounds a game, scored about 54 points a game, gave up just 39.7. That says a lot for your defense, and I'm sure there's some of those numbers you'd like to see go up this year.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, talking about your defense, we do want that to go down. But again, 39 points, that's really good.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that we obviously take pride in, and is one thing that the girls buy in, and they know that they will not play if they don't bring their defense. But yeah, as far as our free throws, we've got to get better at free throws. Field goal percentage, not bad, but we definitely want to increase that. And like you said, our 3-point field goal, we've got to increase that as well. I mean, if teams are going to zone us, that's one thing we have been working on. We've been working a lot about shooting these last about month or so, and just working with not just shooting the ball without anybody in your face, but we've really been trying to hone down on, let's shoot with 2 hands in our face. We got to be able to make that, and so that's a focus. And then rebounding has always kind of been a big strength, and I hope that continues to be there.
Well, last year we had some close games in district play. We had an overtime loss to Glasgow, the second game, and then an overtime win against Allen County Scottsville, finishing that 5-1 district mark. Just goes to show how tough the 15th district really is.
Oh, it is. I mean, it's the most competitive than it is all around us. And a lot of people are talking about region and the region teams, and I'm like, let's take a step back. Our district is just as competitive, and I'm telling you, Glasgow's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah.
Allen County is going to be tough to beat. Monroe County is going to bring it. It's always tough playing there, which is where district is. So, like you said, it's going to be hard. We're going to have to come in. It's not going to be a cakewalk by any means.
Yeah. Now this year, the Cat's Paws and the Courier Journal both have us ranked #1 in the preseason poll in the 4th region. Kind of puts the bullseye on our back.
It does. I feel like ever since I got here, we've kind of been chasing a target. And now the target's kind of on us. We're the hunted, not the hunter anymore, as Daddy was trying to throw in there a little bit. But it's different, and I think the girls understand that it doesn't mean anything. We've talked a lot about that it really doesn't matter. We really haven't proved anything just yet. And so the girls are still hungry in the gym and want to get better.
Well, what you want to do is be #1 at the end of the season.
That's exactly right. That's what matters.
It's just a tough region, top 5. They've got us, and then they got South Warren, got Allen County Scottsville 3rd, Logan 4th, Russell County 5th in one poll. And the other poll, we're 1, Bowling Green 2, South Warren 3, Allen 4, and Glasgow 5. 3 teams in the 15th district in the top 5 in the region. Whew.
That's tough.
Well, let's kind of analyze 15th District a little bit. Allen County Scottsville has a new coach in Greg Dunn, very familiar to the 4th region, having coached at Greenwood several years. Takes over for Brad Bonds, who switched over to coach the boys team this year. The Lady Patriots, of course, they return the #1 player in the region that was voted, Sarah Sutton, who just signed with Murray State, and then Mason Towery, who's also ranked in the top 3 or 4 in the region. And Allen was ranked 3 and 4 in the region, respectively. You beat them last year, but one of those in overtime like we talked about.
Yeah, Mason and Sarah are both tough players that can score almost, at any time they want. And, Bailey and Mallory kind of been the two that always guard them, and it's always a fun little rivalry that they like, between each other. But like you said, new coach in town, you don't know what they're going to do differently, but I do know that they're going to be competitive.
Yeah. Now, Glasgow has some talent returning, too, under Justin Stinson, Ansley Atwell, along with Amanda Lee and Ashandi Gore. Our only loss in the district was to Glasgow, but they're a very athletic team.
They are, and it's a tough matchup for us. I mean, it's a tough matchup for them, and Gore inside is just a beast, and like I said, Kenzie's been working hard, and I'm excited for that matchup. And then, like you said, Ansley Outwell's tough. That little dribble drive that they like to do is hard to guard, and it's one thing that we spent numerous time on. And again, it'll be a tough test. It won't be easy, but obviously we're ready for the challenge. Of
course, Monroe County always plays tough at home. They lost their leading scorer Ashley Geralds, but they returned Grace Turner, 8th grader Paisley Ford, who's a good three-point shooter.
Yeah, they're young, but again, they've got the fire in them, and Coach does a good job over there. And again, we've got to come and play. Doesn't matter what.
Yeah, they posted a winning record last year. All 4 teams had winning records in the 15th district, and looking at this season, 6 of the top 10 players in the region come out of District 15. 2 from Barron, 2 from Allen, and 2 from Glasgow.
That's right. That's crazy.
Shows you how tough it is. It's really tough. We'll look at some other top teams in the 4th region you're going to face. South Warren on Friday night on the road. New coach, Lane Embry, son of Blaine Embry, who switched over to coach the boys team. They did lose their best player in Lasley, who's playing college ball. They lost 3 other starters, but they return a very good guard in Natalie Pierce, another top player in the region.
She's tough. We played them this summer, and I'm telling you, she runs around. She's little but quick, has a nice little shot. I mean, she's going to do big things for them. And, of course, when you've got a point guard that can score, that's tough. But, yeah, we play them Friday. We're excited for that. They're big. Kind of tough for us to match up again. But, again, hopefully we can get up and run in transition.
Bowling Green, the defending 4th champs who beat South Warren in the final, lost an outstanding player in Keely Morrow who went to the college ranks. But they return a couple of starters, including Taylor Ragland, another top 5 player in the region.
Yeah, and Tiala Brown, they're 2 really good players that they work through. And obviously somebody's going to pick up the slack from Morrow. But again, Coach Ed does a great job, and they're going to be athletic and quick, and going to be a tough team to beat.
And we've got them at home this year, is that right? Okay. Logan County returns all 5 starters, and their top player, Paige Van Zandt.
They do, and again, another team that's a lot like us. They want to run in transition. They like to play a little zone and some man, but again, they want to get up and down, which kind of gave us some fits last year on the road down there. But again, it'll be another tough test.
Yep. Russell County returns 3 starters. Addison Loy, but they lost the Carmen girl who's at Campbellsville.
Yeah, and again, we played them this summer. They actually beat us, and so we've got that, to remember. And again, they like that little packed-in 2-3 zone where you got to make us from shoot outside or not settle. And again, that'll be a tough one.
Now, 3 games the first week of the season. Go to Greensburg tomorrow night. Take on the Lady Dragons of Greene County. They lost 3 of their top 4 scorers from last season, but Chris Blades always has his team ready to play at home. We won last year in overtime, 54-50, and after we'd lost 6 straight prior to last year, but we were able to break that losing streak finally.
Right, yeah, he'll have his team ready. Kind of got a little report on them. They'll be physical. They're always very good defensively. They know where they're supposed to be. But he'll have a good game plan up his sleeve. Yeah,
South Warren on Friday, as we talked about. Saturday, we play in the 15th versus 14th challenge at Bowling Green High. We take on the Lady Gators of Greenwood, who has a pretty good player in the region, Jacqueline Jackson.
Yeah, they do, and that'll be another tough test, I think, for us. And playing on the road, I think that's a pretty cool little thing that Coach Ed is doing. 14th versus 15th district. I mean, a nice little rivalry between all the districts, and it'll be a good experience for us.
I think the Russell County's the oddball there, but you've got all 5 teams in the 14th district, and then the 4 in the 15th. So it's Warren Central and Allen County, Scottsville, and then Warren East and Russell. Then we play Greenwood at 4 o'clock, South Warren against Monroe County, and then Bowling Green against Glasgow in the 5th game of that 15th versus 14th challenge. December the 7th, we go to Monroe County. We've already talked about the Lady Falcons. And our first home game's not till Monday, December the 10th, when we host Edmondson County. They have a new coach, Bart Weaver, taking over for the retired Kevin Jackson.
They do. They graduated some tough players, but again, they've got some experience coming back. And, again, that's not going to be an easy test.
Then the following night, we head to Caverna, one of the most respected coaches in the area, and Cornelius Faulkner, super guy. And he still has a daughter that's playing for him.
He does. So we get another one on the road. That'll be a good one.
And then we have Allen at home on the 14th. Then we head to the Christmas break, and y'all going to be heading to Disney World in Orlando to play in the KSA Events Holiday Tournament. I was looking at the bracket. Got a team from Colorado that you're going to be playing. Got a team out of New York. Got a couple of teams out of Pennsylvania. one out of Tennessee, one out of Canada, and Crittenden County, Kentucky.
Yep.
How did that happen?
I don't know. We just said we want to play some teams that aren't from around us, and I guess. But yeah, I don't know how good these teams are going to be. I can imagine by their names they seem pretty tough. So we're excited about that trip.
Yep. Then the 28th, we come home for a district game with Glasgow. And then on Friday, January the 4th, we go to Christian County. That's a pretty good team down in Region 2, and they got the Hampton and McGee duo down there.
Yeah, and again, last year we played Bowling Green really well, it seemed like, before that, and then we had that game, and again, it was another good game that we played. Of course, we came up short, but again, that'll be a good test out of region on the road against a good team out of second region.
Then the following night, have to head to Warren Central, team that they struggled last year. They had a 3-28 record, but they got the Shelton girl back, I believe. Is that right? She's only a freshman or sophomore.
Yeah, she's young.
Then Monday, January the 7th, go up to Thomas Nelson, and they've got a new coach. And, I failed to put their name down. But they got two of their top players back in Stiles and Fritz. But they do have a new coach.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
All right.
I forgot the coach's name. I should have wrote that down.
I'm still worried about Green County.
We're worried about Green County tomorrow night.
Yeah.
We're just kind of running through these teams here who are going to play and what they have coming back. Following night, Warren East, Coach Orlando Hayden, top 2 scorers graduated, but he'll have some players that will step up for him.
He will.
And then on January 11th, district game against Monroe. Off a week to January 18th when we go to Allen. Now, is that a concern for you when you've got 2 district games but you don't have anything in between?
I don't think so. I mean, I think after the stretch that we're going to have, that's going to be a good little week to where we can kind of rest a little bit, get a lot of shots up, kind of focus on, the next team against Allen. So, and I don't think so.
Okay. Then the following night, we've got Franklin Simpson here. And a new coach, but he's back again. Lex Lindsey is back, familiar face to the region. January 22nd, a home game with Logan County, and then a district game with Glasgow. And the following night, a home game with Todd County Central. They lost 4 starters off that team who went to the regional tournament last year. And then the 29th, got a home game against Greenwood we talked about. It'll be the second time that we'll play the Lady Gators this year. And then a new team on the schedule, January 31st, the Lady Rebels of Casey County.
Yeah.
Very good team at Region 12.
It is, and again, that'll be a heck of a game for us. Excited about that. They're quick, super fast, so a little different than maybe what we're used to as far as they play more guard-oriented. So that'll definitely be a good one, good game for us.
Another busy week. Following night, go to Munfordville. I guess if the gym is completed at Hart County by that time.
Yeah, as of right now, that's where we're supposed to be playing.
Okay.
So.
John Bird's got a young team up there, but they're experienced. They're one of the top teams and really, in some polls, favored to win the 18th district this year. Monday, February 4th, home game with Bowling Green. Then we go to Russell County the following night. We've already talked about them. Then we've got Cumberland County on February the 8th, a team that went 0-30 last year. They've lost 35 straight, but a team that always plays hard.
They do. They get out there. The coach does a good job of again, just making sure they play hard and they never give up. That says a lot about them. And then the 12th of February, trip to Edmonton, take on the Lady Hornets. Coach Josh Hurt and company returning 4 starters. They're going to be tough. I mean, they can shoot the ball. They've got a lot of young kids that play extremely hard. Yeah, that'll be a tough matchup for us.
They could be, them and Russell County fighting for the district crown over there.
Absolutely.
Final regular season game against Clinton County on the 14th. They got their top 2 scorers back. And that looks the regular season there. Now, Coach, any thoughts or comments as you get ready for Greene County tomorrow night? Everybody healthy, ready to go?
We are. We had all 16 kids at practice today, and so that was a good sign. We got a freshman JV going on right now, and then we play Greene County tomorrow. I mean, it's here.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's hard to believe.
We're excited.
And talk about your coaching staff this year.
Got a great coaching staff, and Scott Chapman, he's my JV coach, does a great job. He says he's just the bus driver, but he does a lot more than that. Got Abby Beard, she does my freshman. And then Chad Withrow is a new coach on staff. He's helping us out. But we've done a lot of post-guard breakdown, which is something we haven't done a lot of in the past simply because you had me and Coach Chapman and Coach Beard, which didn't know much about the posts. And now we've got Coach Withrow. We spend a lot, 15 to 20 minutes or so on that, which, Coach Beard and Coach Chapman do a great job with the guards. And then, of course, Coach Withrow does a great job with the posts. Yeah. So happy to have him on board. And my other two, they've been with me from the start and definitely love having them a part of us.
Well, Coach, good luck tomorrow night. Hopefully we'll get the season starting with a win.
All right. Thank you, Jay.
All right. Join me along with Robert Bauer for the broadcast tomorrow night here on 103.7 Nash Icon, ESPNKY.com, and BCHS Live. We'll have pregame coverage at 5:45 from Greensburg. Broadcast of the boys' game will follow, of course. Speaking of the boys, head coach Warren Cunningham will join me for a preseason look at the Trojans when this special edition of Trojan Talk continues on BCHS Live.
Thing going on at BCHS, from athletics to special events and opportunities to ceremonies and celebrations. The BCHS Live program is here to show everyone in our community what BCHS is all about, and with 3 major online outputs of our broadcasts, we truly live up to our motto, everything BCHS, anywhere you want it.
The Burgundy Media Network, or BMN for short, is a network of Barron County High School's 3 major media outlets, 88.7 FM, Trojan Radio, BCHS Live, and the Trojan Times school newspaper. As a whole, we are determined to provide you with BCHS news, sports, and interest like never before. Check out our weekly newscast broadcasted every Friday from within Barron County High School, or check out our website at barronschools.com/BMN. From all of us to you, we thank you for your support of all things BCHS. The Trojan Thread School Spirit Store is the #1 place to find any and all things BCHS, with a wide selection of clothes including hoodies, t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, and polos, to everyday items including pens, pencils, notebooks, and stickers, to jewelry including earrings, necklaces, bracelets, and wristbands. So stop by the Trojan Thread store any weekday from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. or during any home varsity basketball game. The Trojan Thread School Spirit Store, keeping
all new approach to bringing you BCHS happenings. We are an entirely student-based publication working more than ever this year to inform you with BCHS happenings. I'm Brennan Crane, Editor-in-Chief, and I can say that we are thrilled to showcase BCHS in a whole new way. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at BC Trojan Times. You won't want to miss this. Go BC!
You're watching BCHS Live on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. BCHS Live is a student-led live online video production program started in 2015 by 4 BCHS freshmen. The BCHS Live program is here to showcase everything going on at BCHS, from athletics to special events and opportunities to ceremonies and celebrations. The BCHS Live program is here to show everyone in our community what BCHS is all about, and with 3 major online outputs of our broadcasts, we truly live up to our motto, everything BCHS, anywhere you want it.
Welcome back to more of this special edition of Trojan Talk at BCHS Live. We just finished discussing the Trojanettes basketball team with Coach Piper Lindsey. Now we're going to talk about the Trojans. Preseason look at Coach Warren Cunningham's team. And Coach, 11th season as the head coach.
Yes.
Of the Trojans. The Trojans finishing last year 9-11, suffering a heartbreaking loss to Glasgow, 69-68 triple overtime of the 15th District Tournament. He graduated 5 seniors. Jared Coomers, now at Air Force Academy in Colorado. He graduated Parker Stevens, Garrett Arterburn, Tyler Smith, and Brandon Reed. Coach, tough way to end the season last year and losing a lot of the scoring from that team, but now that's in the past, and we look forward to the beginning of a new season.
We do. As you said, we lost 5 seniors that not only played a lot, scored a lot, got a lot of rebounds. So we had a lot to replace, and we're in the process of trying to figure out who's going to do that.
Well, you do have some experience coming back. You got junior forward Will Bandy, 6'6", averaged about 12 points a game last year, but overall a young team.
Very much so, and you know, obviously Will's a big part of our team, not only this year, but you know, fortunate to have him back for 2 more seasons. You know, he and Gavin Withrow and Landon Key were the 3 guys returning that saw a significant amount of playing time. Their roles are completely different now than it has been in the past, so that's an adjustment for those 3 guys. And then obviously trying to work a lot of other guys in. Michael Harbison's another senior that's going to play a lot for us that we think can really help our team and do some different things. And you know, after that, it's you know, Tyler Bush is a guy played a little bit from time to time last year, brings you know, a good physicalness to our team and a little bit of edge that we need. Caleb Hester and Cody Lane are 2 other juniors in the backcourt that are going to play some, get an opportunity to play. You know, Cody's a guy that's really brings a lot of energy, and you know, both of those guys bring some athleticism, especially Caleb in the backcourt, and hopefully can help our team.
We've had two preseason scrimmages, one against Elizabethtown, the other against LaRue County, both 5th Region teams. What did you see from those scrimmages that some strengths and maybe some things you need to work on?
Well, we played two teams that were still playing football, and you know, that just kind of happened. It's happened a little bit in the past with E-Town, but in this case, it happened both, and it was okay because we just really needed to play somebody else. It really didn't give us a real good indication of some things just because of neither one of those teams being at full strength. They were both kind of like us, young, and you know, and had some inexperienced guys. So, you know, we saw some things. It was good to see some things that we had to improve on. We knew there would be some things. You know, I thought our guys played really hard and competed. So, you know, that's always a start. When you do that, you always give yourself a chance to improve from day to day. I think we've got to score the ball consistently. We've got to take care of the ball. We got to rebound, and that's a big thing. You know, everybody talks about the scoring that we lost with Jared and Parker and Garrett and some of those guys, but the rebounding part is to me is the biggest part. That's the hardest to replace, and we got to get guys that get in the habit of doing that and really got to rebound the ball a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, I know this year the Cat's Paws had us ranked 5th in the 4th Region in the preseason.
They haven't seen us practice, Jay.
And 8th in the Courier Journal. But number 2 in the district, both polls behind Glasgow, but ahead of Monroe and Allen County Scottsville. Is that where you thought you might be before the season started with an overall young team?
You never know with those things. Sometimes those have more to do with what you've done in the past than maybe what people think you're going to be at this year. I can tell you right now we're not either one of those places yet. Hopefully by the end of the season, you know, you said we're playing a lot of young guys, but you know, you hope by the end of the season you can be in those places and in that conversation. I'll tell you, we're nowhere near that spot yet, and that's not just me saying that. That's from, you know, being here for a while and kind of seeing where we're at right now as a team. We're a little bit further behind, and that's okay. But because we're playing a lot of new guys, and it's going to take us some time. I hope by the end of the year we can be in or near those positions.
We'll kind of analyze the 15th district a little bit before we talk about the rest of the schedule. Glasgow was preseason ranked 3rd, the defending champs in the 15th district. Lost a couple of good players to graduation, Dalvin Smith and Peyton Mills. Kobe Brents transferred to Warren Central. And then Jaden Franklin is out for the season with an ACL injury, but they have Nick Sorrell, and they also have a transfer from Monroe County, Tucker Kirkpatrick, pretty good outside shooter.
Yeah, very much so. And they return, as you mentioned, a lot of athleticism, a lot of skill, and obviously with losing some guys and get some guys, they're still going to be a really good basketball team that won our district last year. So, you know, that I think that always helps you, especially when you return several guys. And they have some other good players that maybe hadn't been getting a chance to play that will now, that are still really good players that folks haven't heard about as much. So they've got a really good team and good guards, you know. And I think all of the other 3 teams in our district, you look at them, they have good play in the backcourt, and it always starts with that. Allen County returns, you know, a really good point guard in Brett Rippey.
Right.
They got a new coach in Brad Bonds who's had a lot of success with the girls. They've got a good group of sophomores. Monroe County probably has the best player in the district in Chandler Clements. Yeah. That can really cause a lot of matchup problems, not only for our team but a lot of other teams. They've got a new coach in Gary DeWitt who's had a lot of success in girls basketball at Allen County. So. You know, we'll be learning some new things that those teams do, but at the same time, we know a lot of their personnel pretty good. It'll be very competitive. It always is, and it won't be any different than a lot of our district games in the past.
Well, let's look at some other top teams that we're going to play. Warren Central. State semifinals last year. They lost Skylar Potter, Jordan Cousin. They mentioned picked up Brents from Glasgow, the transfer. And then Bowling Green's number 2. They lost their top 3 scorers, but always an athletic team.
Very much so, and you know, Warren Central we saw both those teams some this summer. I thought Warren Central was really impressive, and that was without some of the guys that they have now. So I think they have a lot of depth, a lot of athleticism like they always do, but they also shoot the ball really well. And sometimes their teams don't always do that, but it really adds another, you know, really a tough. Put you in a tough position to guard them when they shoot it that well. Bowling Green's got a good group of young guys that they'll play a lot of, that again have a lot of athleticism, and you know, those 2 teams are always going to be at or near the top, and some other folks are going to have to beat them until that changes. And right now they have really good players and good coaches to keep doing that.
Clinton County was ranked 4th in the preseason poll in both of them, and of course they returned the top player of the region, WKU signee Jackson Harlan. They also have last year's state's leading rebounder in Seth Stockton.
Yeah, it's a really good 1-2 punch, and we saw that firsthand over there late in the season last year. And Stockton doesn't get nearly as much of the credit as Jackson Harlan, but I think Coach Messer and a lot of folks that see them play would tell you that he's just as important to their team and does a whole lot of stuff that rebounds. It plays extremely hard, and he really dominated the game that we played over there last year. And he's without a doubt a really, really good player. And they've got those other guys that they have don't get a lot of attention, but Coach will get them in. They'll play their roles, and
good role players,
very much so. Yeah. And they'll be a tough out with when it comes down to it.
3 games, first week of the season. Go to Greensburg tomorrow night, take on the Dragons, and new coach Peter DiStefano goes back to his old alma mater, and they lost. They've got 5 of their top 6 scorers back from last year, and we've won 9 straight against the Dragons. They got to try to make it 10 tomorrow night.
Going to try to. It's not going to be easy. As you mentioned, they return everybody except for their leading scorer last year, in the young kid. But they return. Their guards are physical. They've got good size, and obviously with the new coach, and it's always a tough place to play. It's always tough. The opener, you don't know really how everybody's going to react, especially playing a lot of young guys and new guys, guys in different roles. So it'll be a good test for our team tomorrow night, and we come back Friday and Saturday and play again.
Yeah, South Warren on the road Friday night. Blaine Emery, who coached the girls, moves over to be the 5th boys coach in 6 years. And they got a good shooter in Tyler Martin, who averaged about 20 points a game.
Very much so, and he's one of the best shooters in our region and can really, if you don't do a really good job on him, he can really dominate the game. We saw last year when we played them here, he and a couple other kids that really shot the ball that kept them in the game. We played him over the summer, and it was a battle. And he's not only shoot it, he can do some other things off the dribble as well. And Coach Emery's an outstanding coach. He's had a lot of success in girls and boys basketball, and he'll have his team. They'll play very fundamental, and they'll do a lot of things really good.
Then Saturday afternoon, a road trip to Whitley County to play in the Edgewood Supercenter Hardwoods Classic. I think they had 10 wins last year, and they returned their double-figure score in Hunter Hollingsworth.
They do. They've got one. He's kind of the main one that's returning. One of the few guys they have that's returning. Kind of like us, they lost a lot of players off last year's team. Be playing a lot of new guys. So, we'll have some information on them. But by the time, I don't know their team obviously quite as well as obviously a lot of other teams that we see, just because we don't see them very, very much. And it's just you play in a classic or two here and there. This is a little bit further maybe than we want to, but just with the way our schedule worked, it worked out good.
Now, is that a 1:45 Central Time game Saturday?
It's a 12:45.
So it'll be 12:45 Central, because I know there's a girls game prior to ours. That's Whitley County and Harlan County, and then the other 2 boys games: Knott County Central, Mercer County, McCreary Central, and Jackson City in the Edgewood Mobile Homes Hardwood Classic. And then the following week, we're actually off about a week after we play the 3 games this week. And then we go to Monroe County for that big district game over there. And we've discussed the Falcons already with Chandler Clements. They've also got Georgie Brooks, who will probably be the point guard maybe, or at least one of the guards for him this year.
He'll definitely be in the backcourt. It seems like he's been playing for.
Yeah, I know. Since, 8th grade? Is he a junior yet? Or?
He's a junior.
Okay. First home game is Monday, December 10th with Edmonson County. The Wildcats had 10 wins last season. They graduated 5 seniors.
It's 2 weeks before we play our first home game, and everybody keeps asking me, why that happened. But it was just a couple different things. We moved the Allen County game from a Tuesday night to the following Friday, so that would have been an earlier home game. We've moved the Edmonds County game around a time or two, and that's why we have an open date next Tuesday. But that's okay. We've got we're on the road a lot early in the season, and it seems like as the season goes on, we're at home a little bit more. And usually as the season winds down, it's good to be at home and maybe not travel as much.
Definitely. Following night, we go to Caverna. Colonel's lost 4 starters, but that is always a tough place to play.
Very much so, and we found that out the hard way from time to time, Jay. But they always seem to have good guard play and have a lot of quickness in the backcourt, and it always seems to be a battle over there, and it will be again this year. District
game at home with Allen on the 14th, as you mentioned. Then we head in the Christmas break, and we host the Barron Hoops Classic, a game with E-Town, who we scrimmaged. They lost 4 starters. Is that right, from last year?
I think so. I know they lost some guys, and like I said, we scrimmaged them, but we didn't get a real good feel for that part just because they had several guys that were still involved in football. but we're hosting it's a 3-day classic there with we've got E-Town, us, Glasgow, Whitley County is coming to that. We went there. They're coming to our classic, and then we've got a couple of Tennessee teams in Clay County, Tennessee, who I understand have a really good team. I think they advanced really far in their playoffs last year, and if I looked up some information on them, and I think they returned their whole team. If I looked at that correctly, and then Lighthouse Christian out of Antioch, Tennessee as well. So
that's a team I don't know anything about.
I don't know much either.
Can't get any info on them. Then we're off a week. We host Glasgow to district game. Then Friday, January the 4th, we go to Adair County. Coach Darren Breeze, who played ball here a couple of years, and he lost his freshman Zion Harmon and his 33 points a game that he averaged over there, but they've got a couple of starters back.
They do, and they always have a good team. Coach Brees does a good job with those guys, and they pressure, they play fast. Sometimes they play a little bit different than a lot of other teams that we play, so it's always a good challenge. It's a style of play type of game. Just sometimes we don't always want to play quite as fast as they do, but he does a good job with those guys.
Following night, go to Warren Central, and then we come back home on the 8th to play Warren East. Brandon Combs always has his team ready to play.
And that's always a great game. It seems like every year that game goes right down to the last possession or two, and it's always two similar teams. So I would expect nothing less than that again this year.
Yeah, district game against Monroe County on the 11th. Then we go up to Ohio County. They canceled. That game was canceled last year, right?
We had a lot of snow.
Yeah.
And so we were supposed to go there last year, and we're returning that trip this year.
One of the top-ranked teams in Region 3, and got one of the top players in the region, too, in Trey Lewis.
They do. They've got a good backcourt, and it'll be always a tough place to play. It's especially tough on a school night, a long trip for us, and it'll be a good game for us.
Then on the 18th of January, we got Allen, and then home the following night play Franklin Simpson. They lost their leading scorer, D. Ragland, and they only had a 7-23 record last year, but they did go to the regional tournament.
They did, and we saw them over the summer, and they have some good athleticism, and especially by that time in the year, they'll have all their football guys back and be ready to go. And again, it's always a good game, and they have some size and athleticism that causes us some problems.
January the 22nd, we host Logan County. John Tinsley is the new coach at Logan this year. Coached at Barron and several other schools in the region, and I think they were ranked 6th in one preseason poll. They did lose their leading scorer in Austin Reno.
They do. They returned some other guys, though. The Epley kid's a really nice player. Tommy Cron's a nice player. And then the transfer from Russellville is
Anthony Woodard.
He's talent-wise, he's a top 10 player in our region, and I don't think there's any doubt that they're a top 5 team in our region. And that'll be a really tough game for us.
January 25th, go to Glasgow for a district game. Then the following night, we got Todd County Central. They did lose Nolan Barrow, but they got Big John Calvary back this year.
Big John caused us some problems last year, along with a lot of other folks. And he is we hadn't seen them as much maybe. And I thought last year, they had a really good team. And we were really fortunate to get that win down there last year. But he's a load, and
he really is.
He's a really nice player.
Posted a double-double last year, and they went to the regional tournament. Monday the 28th, home game with Russellville, a team that only went 7-19 last year. It's been a long time since they haven't advanced to the regional tournament.
It has been, and Coach Booth does a nice job with those guys. They're athletic, they have a lot of quickness, and really pressure and play really hard.
And they've got a top scorer back too in Jacob Naylor.
They do. He's really a nice guard in the backcourt. Really does a nice job of creating a lot of things.
29th of January, the following night, home game with Greenwood. They got 2 double-figure scorers back in Jack Roberts and Ben Carroll.
Yeah, and I think they're another team that's a top 5, top 6 team in our region. Obviously, in a tough district that they're in, but they have some guys that have good skills, that can shoot it, that can pass it, and they have a really nice team.
Let's see, what else? Oh, Saturday, February 2nd. It's a trip to the Owensboro Sports Center. I don't know that I've ever broadcasted a game there, but we played Davis County.
Jay. That's why we did it, Jay.
Just so I could broadcast one
that's
there.
Right. Yeah. And I just thought it would be neat. We had an opportunity to go there. It's a really nice. I don't think we've ever played there. I've been there a time or two, but it's a really nice arena, and not Owensboro's not too far away, and Davis County is a school much like ours in terms of the size and the kids that they have, and we've gone down there a time or two to their stuff in the summer. So it was he needed a game, I needed a game, and we just kind of worked it out where we were playing. And there's some other games that day too. I don't have the schedule yet, but there's some other teams. Of course, their regional tournament is usually in that arena, so those teams there want to play there. So it's a neat I think it'll be neat for our guys to play there.
And they've got a pretty good player in Dakota Walden, I understand.
They do, one of the best players in the region. And I found out, I'll tell you a little, I didn't know this till the other day, Jay, it's Coach Vance's grandson. Coach Johnny Vance's grandson. It is. It sure is. Just found that. He told me that the other day. I was talking to him. I didn't know that.
Monday, February 4th, host Bowling Green. We talked about the Purples earlier. Then the trip to, Russell County, take on the Lakers, a team that finished 13-21. And a trip to Diddle. They lost 6 seniors and their top 2 scorers.
That'll be a tough back-to-back. We moved the Bowling Green game because of where it was falling on January 1st, January 2nd. So we moved it just for this 1 year only. Hopefully we'll be able to get it back to where it usually is right after the Glasgow game on that following Tuesday. But we'll play Bowling Green at home and then turn around and head to Russell County the next night. It's always a very competitive game. They have I think some places I don't know that you have as much of a home court advantage. It always seems like that's a tough place to play. They always have good crowds that are really involved in. They've coaches. It will be in his 2nd year there, so they'll they have some good young kids and they'll be ready to go.
Yeah. Friday, February 8th, host Cumberland County. The Panthers went 5-25, but they returned the bulk of their team this year.
And they had some good players. I thought they had some guys in the backcourt that
are
very capable. They do, and Coach Claywell does a nice job with that. Our young guys are over there playing tonight, but that will not be an easy game. I think that even last year I thought that their young guys, some guys that they have returning for this year, are very capable of scoring.
Tuesday, February 12th, go to Edmonton, take on the Hornets, another 16th district team that struggled, 4-25 record, but they've got their leading scorer back in Tyler London. Yeah,
and I think they'll be much improved. I think that'll be a team that will get a lot more wins than that. Their kids play really hard. They return a lot of guys that have played, and then those guys have not only got some experience, I think they've gotten better, and I think that'll be a much improved team. Yeah. Then we close out with Clinton County here on February 14th, which we've talked about earlier. Coach, any other thoughts or comments? We get ready for Greene County tomorrow night? Everybody healthy? They are, knock on wood. Right now we're pretty healthy for the most part. Obviously we lost Corbin Murphy back over the summer, and he may be back later on. We'd be glad to have him back if that happens. But otherwise, for the most part, we're pretty healthy. Have a few sprained ankles and stuff like that from time to time, but we're very fortunate. And there's going to be some ups and downs. Played a lot of new guys, a lot of young guys, and hopefully if we continue to have the right attitude about it and work really hard, that we'll put ourselves in position where we'll be playing our best at the end of the season, and that's what we want to do. Yeah. Of course, mention your coaching staff for this year. Same ones you've had before, right? It is the same ones we've had for that's good. quite a while. Good. And we're not only, my guys not only do a great job, but they're good friends of mine as well, and that always helps with Matt Gardner and Jared Browning and Lee Johnson all do a great job. Will McCoy helps us as well, and he's coaching the middle school team right now. So it's great to have him on board to kind of help bridge that gap a little bit from the high school to middle school. And he comes up and joins us when they're as much as he can, and especially when their season's over. But our guys do a great job. Lee does a great job with the freshmen, and we always kind of joke that there's no freshman team practices as much as ours do, because they practice nonstop. Sometimes I encourage him to take a day off here and there, and Jared's great with our JV guys, and Matt just kind of helps all of us. Well, looking forward to tomorrow night. Good luck to you, and hopefully we can start the season off with a win. That's the plan. Thanks, Jay. Yeah. Coach, thank you. Join me for the broadcast of all the Trojan and Trojanet basketball games throughout the season as we begin our 23rd consecutive year of broadcasting the games on the radio. You can hear them starting tomorrow night on 103.7 Nash Icon, also on ESPNKY.com and BCHS Live. Pre-game coverage begins at 5:45 with the girls' game, followed by the boys' contest. This has been a special edition of Trojan Talk on BCHS Live as we have taken a preseason look at Barron County High Trojan and Trojanet basketball. For Trojanet coach Piper Lindsey, Trojan coach Warren Cunningham, and the BCHS Live video team, I'm Jay Turner. Thanks for watching.